Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Today we are going to take a little time and we are going to look at a blade battle between a couple of knives that are not what we normally look at here in blade battles. This is actually going to be a couple of out the fronts. Both really cool knives, both USA made knives, and we're going to take a look at them. And I've kind of tried to come up with my little grading points where I kind of go in here and I tell you guys off the bat that this is non-scientific and purely subjective. Because there's no way to scientifically categorize these. All I'm going to do is kind of tell you based on these categories: materials, fit and finish, workmanship, ergonomics, action, carry, aesthetics, sliciness, durability, toughness, and overall value at the end of the day. And we're going to be comparing the Microtech Ultratech ZBP, Zero Blade Play, with the Axial Shift OTF. So, two knives, both USA made, not radical, but different price points. This is going to be about 2.5 bones, and this is going to be right under 4 bones. So, you know, considerably, not double by any means, but close, right? So when we look at materials, let's just talk about the materials. So if I was going to compare these two side by side, they both got titanium clips. This one does have a really nice ceramic pocket clip ball. You've got this crud catcher ramp here that just looks a little bit more detailed material wise. But you've got aluminum, titanium, a little ceramic. Here you've got MagnaCut. And here you've got M390MK, which is that custom version of M390 that Microtech went in, and I always say soft, Microtech went in and tweaked the formula. So if we're just talking about materials, in my subjective opinion, I prefer MagnaCut over M390MK. Now, will I ever know the difference in those two blade steels? Probably not. But which do I prefer if I'm just talking about materials? I like MagnaCut. I've got aluminum on both. And I do have a ceramic ball here, but I don't think it quite outweighs the MagnaCut over the M390MK. You've got the same grade of aluminum. Now, that's just materials. So materials, I'm going to give it to the Shift. But then we go to fit and finish and workmanship. Fit, finish, and workmanship. When you look real closely here, you've got this really nice jimped ramp. You've got nice little tracked or groove track that runs underneath it. I'm starting to get a little crud in there, you can see. Not a ton. But works very well. You've got nice milling, nice machining around the handles. Everything seems to be put together very well. And here you've got, again, this kind of press fit ceramic ball. You've got this really nice milling on this thumb ramp. This thumb ramp is very, very comfortable. You've got, again, this crud catcher, these little milling areas inside the ramp here that let dirt kind of fall below and don't mess with your action as much. The workmanship and the fit and finish of the handle scales and how they come together around the glass breaker, which usually I'm not a huge fan of glass breakers, but on the Ultratech, I think this is a Gen 3, the Zero Blade Play, they really lowered the height of this glass breaker. And I think it's much better. So workmanship is going to have to go to the Microtech by a good bit. So, and it's not because there's anything wrong with the Shift. It's just when you look at both and you look at how they are both executed, now the handles come together exactly the same. But you look at some of the other small details, like the way they utilize this T20 for the body screw to hold it together there, instead of just the traditional clips screws. So I think that's kind of cool. So ergonomics. This again is going to be very subjective. For me, ergonomics are how does the knife feel in my hand? When I'm kind of death gripping it, how does it feel to hold? Right? How does it feel in my hand? So this is a tale of two hot spots. And they're not severe hot spots. I'm just keeping in mind when I do a blade battle or comparison, so to speak, or a scrap, an OTF scrap, I'm looking to find those things that make one feel better than the other. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting a hot spot from my clip. That ceramic ball that makes it such a dream to carry, you do feel it. And I feel a little bit of the button, but not much. Now, on the shift, that's where my hot spot is. I've got a little bit of a hot spot down here, a little bit of a hot spot right here, and I guess it's just because this edge is a little sharper. But all in all, the ergonomics, for me, just because I really feel this ball, they're both very similar, as close to being a push, but it does kind of get nudged out because of that ball and how it fits in my hand. Again, not a negative. It's just when I'm talking about ergonomics, I've got to look at those differences. And the ergonomics in this one are going to go to the shift, surprisingly enough. Action. So action is going to be measured in what I feel like is the force that goes out and comes in on a double action automatic, and how hard it is to make that action work, right? Or execute that action. So they're both very, very strong out the fronts. This one, the zero blade play, I'm going to have to look at the fact that there is literally zero blade play in this knife. I'll do a full review on this coming up. There's zero blade play in this knife. And the action is just glassy smooth. My finger does not get tired. My thumb does not get tired when I'm sitting there actuating it. On the shift, I can't pull it back. I can, but it's really a chore because I've got short thumbs. So what I usually do is I get it like that. And use the side of my thumb because it's just, I have to really drag on it. So in that case, the action is clearly going to go to the Microtech, the Ultratech. So we're running it 2 and 2. Carry. This is one that's going to be surprising because this knife goes in and out of pocket amazingly well. The Microtech goes in and out of pocket amazingly well. They're both very low profile. This is the Microtech. Goes in and out of pocket. Not deep carry, but close, right? Very slim form factor in the pocket. The shift, deep carry, in and out of pocket very easily, but great retention too. So, do I think that deep carry is enough of an advantage to give the pulse the point there? Not really. I think these guys, to be objective as I purely can, even though this is purely subjective, I am striving to be objective. And if I'm being objective, these both feel pretty much like a push to me. So what I'm going to do on the carry is I'm not going to give either one of them a point. So we're still sitting at 2 and 2. Aesthetics. This is going to be one that's very subjective. Again, I'm trying to look at it through an objective lens, but both of them are good looking knives. Depending on if you like glass breakers, if you like these new kind of pass-through barrel or bolt that holds the tail section of this knife together. You've got T8s that hold these other 4 body screws together. Here you've just got 4 T8s that hold these 2 pieces together. You've got the nice milling with the Microtech logo, and you got that really nice ball Looks like Zerk, but I think it's ceramic. Got the nice wide offset switch. I'm going to give the aesthetics to the Microtech, to the Ultratech, which takes us to sliciness. Now this one, when you look at these two knives, it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a push here because we got a thicker grind on this Tanto than we do on this really thin ground drop point on the Microtech. So let's see if... One thing I'll say about my Microtech Ramlock stitch and this knife, there's some of the sliciest knives in the game. Now, I've been extremely surprised by how slicey the Shift OTF is. However, I don't know if you can hear it. Whoops, that was cutter air. I don't know if you can hear the difference. There's a little more pull, just slightly, on the pulse. So, by just a narrow margin, I'm going to give sliciness to the Microtech as well. Durability and toughness. Guys, the construction on these knives are almost identical. You do have one more body screw on the Microtech. So you've got 5 screws holding the aluminum handles together. You've got a different transport system inside, but they're both very similar. They're both going to be a slide or a carriage operated by a couple of springs. They both reset. Well, they reset differently. You reset the shift, which I've never had to reset either one of these knives. I just know that they're done differently. With the shift or a regular Microtech, you just pull it out. With the zero blade play, you tap it down and it locks in the end position. So durability and toughness, I'm going to have to give this a push. And then it comes down to value. So $379, $249, right? So about 150 apart from each other. Both are USA made. The Microtech is clearly maybe a step up or additional level of fit and finish workmanship, details. The details are the devil's in the details. The details make the difference. Shift's a great knife. So if I'm talking about value, for me, I didn't show this on action. The regular out the front has a little bit of blade play. I'm used to that. That doesn't bother me a bit. It's just got it's ever so slight. I mean, it feels miraculous when you experience the zero blade play. If you haven't handled one of these knives, and I used to not even be an automatic guy at all. It's one of the other weird kind of niches that I fell into. But I don't mind a little bit of blade play. The value to me is going to lean towards the Shift by not a little but a lot. I think at $250, what a great deal this is. USA made, done very well. You can choose a Tanto, you can choose a Wharncliffe, or you can choose a drop point. Now, Microtech, or Dagger, excuse me, Dagger, Tanto, Wharncliffe, and maybe a drop point. So 4 blade shapes there. Microtech, I think, probably has more blade shapes, but again, you can find what you're looking for, right? They're going to have one that suits your specific needs. The actions are radically different, leaning in favor, to me, because it's smoother, it's glassier, and if you have a weak thumb like I do and it's kind of short, prepare to have to kind of work for this one. And it's a finger shredder. I don't know if you can see the skin coming off my finger, but it's definitely a finger shredder, where this one just is effortless. 2 fantastic knives. Let's total up, see what we got. We got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the Ultratech and to the winner. In my opinion, the overall winner goes to the Microtech Ultratech ZBP, Zero Blade Play. What a great system. What a great knife. I've never been a Microtech fanboy. I've never owned Microtechs before this one. Well, I have my Stitch, but it's a manual. I've never owned a Microtech out the front until this one. and I've really been pleased. As a matter of fact, it's in my pocket today, and it's kind of stayed in my pocket. It's just a really good knife. I love my Shift. It's a fantastic knife too. I'd love to pick up one of these in a Wharncliffe one day. I like that blade shape, that blade style. And when you look at the Microtechs and you look at the Axials, the blades are going to be, to me, look more different than the handles, even though the handles will be, or the body of the knife will be done differently in both manufacturers. They're radically different. The blades, they're going to be very different. So you'll either like or dislike the milling on the Axial blades, this little diagonal milling lines, and then you just got a nice swedge. Where with the Microtechs, you've got some holes, you got some Troton blades, you got all kinds of different stuff at Microtech. But guys, I appreciate you watching. Ultratech comes out on top by a smidgen. They're both, in my opinion, if you're looking for an out the front that's USA made and manufactured, you can't lose with either one of these knives. The Microtech's in my pocket. But thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, that bell notification icon, hit the like button, but most importantly, look out for the guy or gal to your left, look out for the guy or gal to your right, look out for each other, go forward with love in your heart, and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.